Howdy folks, just wanted to share some things that I've learned about OpenWebRX Plus in the mapping section, and wanted to show how you can use the mapping section in OpenWebRX to learn a lot about not only what's going on in the spectrum but what's going on around you, and use mapping features that I was not aware of even after reading the manual. So, kind of get into this right here. I'm looking at the 10 meter band, as you can see right here. You can see the frequency. Whoops, maybe not. There you go. You can see the frequency right there, 28.078 megahertz. In 10 meter, we're in upper sideband, and we're decoding JS8 call. If we come over here to this window right over here, you can see this is kind of disappointing with all the activity in the band. This is all I'm decoding right now, but you know, these markers up here in the top that you may or may not be able to see up there. I'm decoding JS8. You can click on these, and these are added when you create the profile for the band, like right here in this drop down menu. All of these different profiles, which you may or may not be able to see in the video. There are multiple you can select, and you create those inside the settings area for the SDR itself. These settings that we're looking at are for the map settings, and I would recommend, before we get too far into this, setting the map type right here. Let me make sure I'm not zoomed in, and I am. So let me zoom out. The map type right here under map settings, you go into settings and general settings in OpenWebSDR, the admin interface. Go into map settings, all the way at the bottom, map type. You can select Google, which is the default. I set mine to OpenStreetMaps, etc. And all these other settings are just default out of the box. It's interesting to note that you can change, like, the call sign, database URL. So if you don't like using this one, qrzcq.com, you can change it to ham call or something else. There's a vessel database, which I have not used, and I believe this is for part of the mapping feature I want to show, that is OpenWebRX+maps, I think. Something for maritime navigation. And then there's this URL for FlightAware, which I actually kind of like, and this URL as well to identify aircraft. So anyway, let's actually look at airplane data. Let's receive some airplane data here. So right now I've selected the profile. I'm going to come over here, not that this is really relevant, but I'm going to click this button right here, and this will change the you should be able to see the waterfall has changed. This line right here indicates there was a change in how the waterfall is being displayed. And this button right here, these two buttons, these two sliders, even though they're set to automatic, you can, I believe, right click that. Yeah, if you right click it, you shut automatic auto adjust waterfall colors on or off, and hopefully it's showing that. I don't know if I'm zoomed in or out, I can't tell. But so you can right click that to turn it back on. Anyway, if we go over here, and I am zoomed in, we should be able to zoom. Can I zoom back out? Can I zoom back out? That is the question. Apparently not. I guess video's over. Nope, there we go. So collecting data here, you won't be able to see it, but I'm going to switch to a different tab that has the map. And you can see on the map, I'm going to use my mouse wheel to scroll in. You can see there's airplanes here. And if we click on the airplane, up here at the top, you can see the distance in kilometers from this location, which is my receiver location that I've set just for this video. It's not really where I am. And then you can see the N number up here for the aircraft, and then the ICAO number here, which these are both related. I believe when you click either one of these clickable links, it'll take you to flightaware.com, which we're going to now. I just clicked on it, and it'll tell you that here's the airplane. It actually shows you a picture of the hardware, which it lists over here under aircraft details. Tells you it's a Cessna Citation CJ1 twin jet. It tells you some information about the flight. Since this is a private charter, it could be somebody's personal plane. It's just kind of giving you some minimal information. For a commercial flight, it would actually show you more detail there. This shows you the flight plan and about where they are. So they just took off. I believe the green line indicates what they've asked for, what they've requested for in their flight plan, and this yellow line shows what they're actually doing. And it shows some past flights down here. Hopefully we're seeing all this. And yeah, so I'm going to close this tab and go back to the map interface. I'm going to click this down here, and then I'm going to show the features I really want to show. It's under features. It's actually in this whole, if I zoom in here, this whole left, lower left panel area. I want to show all of that. And so if we look in this area right here where it says ADSB, if I click that on and off, you should be able to see icons for the planes going on and off. There's YSF, which I've collected some data for YSF. If I zoom back out here, and if we go here and click on these icons, you can see people's call signs. If you click them, it'll take you to whatever the default is for OpenWebRX. I believe it's qrzcq.com. It'll look up the call sign, give you information about each call sign. This is obviously somebody's call sign out here in the middle of the ocean that they don't have their GPS coordinates for Yaesu System Fusion. That's what YSF stands for. It's C4FM modulation, but this data I got from receiving from America Link. So anyway, YSF, we click this on and off over here in the lower left. I don't know if you can see that. I'm clicking this right here, and as we click that, you can see the icons go on and off on the map. So, and you probably can't because I was zoomed in. So there's the icons going on and off. So we'll just leave that on. I've collected some APRS data. If we zoom back in here in the map, hopefully, let me look and see what we're looking at. You can see I can turn the ADSB information off, the airplane information, and if I click APRS, you can see the icons going on and off. If I click an icon, you should see the requester come up, and yes, we're seeing that. And this clickable link right here will take you to qrzcq.com, and it'll look up information about the call sign. If it's a repeater, sometimes it'll give you information about that. So anyway, this is information you can turn on and off because all of these are clickable under features on the lower left part of the panel. So that's APRS information right there. I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to click repeaters. So now on the screen you should see a bunch of repeaters. So let's say we go up here to whatever this is, K5LFD, and it'll give you the frequency number and the modulation type, narrowband, FM. If you click the clickable link at the top, it'll tell you what the call sign is, give you some information about that. And I just clicked the clicking this frequency link. I think it's supposed to do something, but I'm clicking it. It's not doing anything. Anyway, exercise for the viewer here. And then there's this moving on from repeaters right here to stations. And if I zoom the map way out, you can now see there's like up above Denver. If you watch that while I click the stations on and off, you can see that icon appear and disappear. If I click on the icon itself, you can see it's 1,144 kilometers from my receiver location, and this gives you a bunch of programming schedule for WWV. So if you need to know what time it is. You should be able to click these, and I am clicking these and nothing's happening. If we click this link right here, it'll take us to Google for Fort Collins. It'll just basically tell us about Fort Collins. So all of these, like down here in Boca Raton, these are, I believe, fax information, weather fax information over HF for weather, for navigation, for whatever. And I'm not even sure what the rest of these are. Also navigation, probably navigation. Yeah, Halifax radio, I believe that's for navigational purposes, and yeah, and so on. So the stations will give you, I believe, HF, predominantly HF information. Now these three, OpenWebRX, which I'm going to click here, OpenWebRX, you can see the icons appear, like the one in Denver or Colorado Springs. Then WebSDR and KiwiSDR. Now what these are is they're marking where there are other SDRs that have been made available over the internet. So if I zoom in here to Colorado Springs, left click on the triangular icon, it'll give me a URL up here, somebody's call sign. It tells me that the device is running OpenWebRX version 1.2.32. So we can just left click or right click this and open in a new tab. I'm going to left click it. It opens it in a new tab, and as you can see, we're in somebody else's SDR here over the internet. And I guess the default profile here is for, here I'm going to zoom in on that, Pluto SDR 2-meter packet. So we're collecting on 144.390, that's APRS data. So, and you can see over here, hopefully in this side of the screen, that we're seeing the data that's being collected from APRS. So yeah, that is a pretty neat feature that I didn't know about until I started clicking around in here. And you can access, let's say we go up here around Broomfield in Denver, north of Denver. And you can see there's a DNS name, and then there's a colon, and then that's a TCP port number. So if we click on this, it should open somebody's, yeah, there we go, their Kiwi SDR. And you can see we're receiving stuff. So, and you can play around with all these controls over here, whatever permissions the SDR owner has permitted. But I didn't know about that until I started clicking around. So let me turn these off. And this is another feature. By default, this is enabled to by band. And if we zoom in on this, I'm going to kind of go through some things here. There's by band, there's by mode, and off. And I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't see the drop down menu. So we'll go by mode, and you can see the different modes. And then just off turns this whole thing off. So let's zoom back out. Make sure I've zoomed back out. By the way, it's the first time I've used Zoom on OBS, so bear with me. Anyway, if we're looking at by band, each one of these squares represents, you can see all these markers. Like if I click over here at St. Paul, you can see there's somebody's call sign. Tells us the mode FT8, 17 meters, the band, how many minutes ago. Same thing up here, different band, different modes. So we can click this on the screen too. If we click 10 meter, only want to see 10 meter, can click it again, turn them all back on. 15 meter, want to see 17 meter, so on and so forth. You can just click through those. You can set it to by mode and see all the FT4, all the FT8, and all the whisper contacts. You can zoom out too and show like the entire, whoops, getting a little wild here. Show everything by mode, by band, and there's some stuff over in Europe I heard on 10 meter. 10 meter is just blowing up right now. So anyway, that's most of what I wanted to show here. There's also a if we zoom back in here, we go to Lake Meredith out here in the Panhandle. If we go up to the map drop down, am I zoomed in? No, I'm not. If we go to the map drop down, I go to ESRI World Imagery. I don't know if you can see that up there, but it changes the map to a satellite, pretty high resolution satellite. If we zoom down here, you can see there's places you can camp out here. I believe you can camp for free. I believe they have a free boat launch. Don't know if there's a fee or not. I'm pretty sure the camping in some of these areas out here is actually free. Maybe this is not one of the locations I'm zoomed in here, but I just wanted to show you the resolution. If I zoom in using OPS a little further, you can see the detail there. And so that's kind of cool that it's got a this kind of mapping. There's also topological mapping where it can show you. I guess I'm zoomed in too far for this, but it'll show you. I guess this is a heat map style where it shows you where higher elevation, lower elevation is. Actually, this looks like a satellite map. I think it is when you zoom out further. You go into Uncompahgre Peak here. Of course, everybody knows where that is. It gives you the listing. Oh, in meters, 4,363 meters high. Yeah, and it is showing a topological. And then there's a bunch of different maps there. Another cool feature, if let me kind of zoom back out here really far, turn all this stuff off and that stuff. So now if we're looking at weather, I believe I've showed this before, but if you click weather over here under the map section, it shows you all the different storms, and I believe this updates maybe not super real time, but close enough. It's a pretty neat feature when you start looking, especially at like air traffic. If we go turn air traffic on, you can see where all the airplanes are going through stuff, and like if we click on this guy, we can see he's around 30,000 feet. I guess that's going to fly over the bad stuff for him. It's kind of neat. And then there's also Maidenhead QTH. I don't know if you can see that. It's putting a Maidenhead number, and if you keep zooming in, wherever you are on the map, wherever your mouse is, it'll stay in whatever new grid opens up. So you can zoom all the way down, and this is about as far down as it goes. And so what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think anybody gets that exact on their Maidenhead grid square. Probably right around here is about as far as you want to go. This is usually good. Like let's say we're in EM13 or EM12 if you're in the DFW area. And then there's OpenWebRX+map as well. Moving on to another feature over here on this side of the map, OpenWebRX+map. So turning that on, you don't really see anything because, well, we're not over the ocean. If you zoom way out, like it's on. If you turn it back off, it doesn't. Actually, did we zoom out? There we go. So let's zoom into someplace where, Key West, where they're probably going to have some stuff going on with maritime things. So I've turned this on. I don't know if you can see it, but right in here there's a little black star like this. It's not clickable, and if I keep zooming down, it this actually shows us there's a thing there. I guess these are beacons for lights. The star is the thing to tell you where the light is for a beacon. So, and then there's these things right here. I guess a really cool place to park your expensive sailboat. They're also not clickable, but you see me turning this on and off. Then that's showing where, I guess features in OpenWebRX+map. And I think there's a lot more that's happening here in OpenWebRX+map that I'm not aware of. I just haven't played with it that much, but that feature is there. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that these features exist. I kind of found them by stumbling around. I'm sure they are in the documentation. I read through it. I obviously didn't read it well enough to figure out what was going on with this. So anyway, just wanted to share this with you all. 7-3.